There were a few occasions where I actually physically got on the date and it was a disaster. The girl was either a freelancer or a ladyboy or something like that. But
A
that
lady
was
boy.
I had a few instances of dates and people show up and they look nothing like their picture.
I have had some friends, serial daters. I mean, literally guys that would go out every evening to go on a date. Were you one of those dudes?
My girlfriend, I have to say, is head and shoulders above the average Thai woman.
What's the story, everybody? Pete here from Thairish Times. We have another interview for you today. We're going to meet Will, who's currently living in Bangkok, Thailand. He's been in Thailand now for 2 years. And in this video, he's going to talk about his dating experiences in Thailand, especially online dating in Bangkok. As you've seen from the first clip, he's had some disastrous dates, especially like the one he mentioned there earlier, where he thought he was meeting a woman, and then a ladyboy showed up, which is not something that you'd like, especially if that's not your thing. If it is your thing, then I'm sure you'd like it. But I don't know, what can I say about that? I wouldn't be too impressed if that happened to me. But he is also going to talk about the old filtered photos. I think if you're going to date in Bangkok or Thailand, you're gonna meet someone who doesn't look like their photos. Thai women are great at editing photos, filtering their body, filtering their faces, and the person that you meet could really not resemble the photo that you saw online. So he's going to talk about that. It's happened to me. It'll happen to you if you're going to do it. People out there watching this, it's happened to you. If it has happened to you, put it down below in the comment section as well. And then we're going to talk about the serial daters in Thailand, because I know fellas that their whole stick was dates. You know, it was like their hobby. So they'd be on the online dating apps, and it's like sales. They're not chasing money, but they're chasing dates. And they literally be trying to line dates up every night of the week. And like I said, it was like their hobby. They wouldn't go play football. They're not going to go to the gym. They're just going on dates. That's their whole thing. But we're not just going to focus on the whole dating scene in Thailand as well. I know that's the title of the video. It relates to that. But we're also going to talk about, why Will moved to Thailand. He has an interesting career change that's allowed him to work in Thailand. And then we're going to get into where he lives in Bangkok and his cost of living as well. So let's get straight into it. Hope you enjoy it, folks. If you did, hit the like button, leave me a comment, subscribe to the channel. We're on the way to 50k. We're not far away, and I'll be delighted when we get there. Let's get straight into it. Okay, so William, thanks very much for coming on here today. I'm excited to hear your story, as always, with every guest. I seem to say that with every guest, but I genuinely am excited to hear everybody's story. So you are living in Bangkok at the moment. Tell us why you decided to move to Thailand, because I think you have an interesting story. Your background is quite interesting.
Yeah, it really all started back when I was in university and I started taking classes in world religion and culture and anthropology because to me those were the deepest kind of things that I could study. And so I started doing that because I was really interested in philosophy and religion and all of that stuff. So took a bunch of courses in religion and psychology and philosophy. But then when I got to the Buddhism class, that's when I was really like, this is my thing. So my Buddhism professor introduced me to the local Thai temple in Orlando, Florida, where I'm from. So then I just started going to that Thai temple in Orlando every week. And then after about 2 years, the head monk there said that I could be ordained as a monk at that temple, that he would ordain me as a Buddhist monk in the Thai Buddhist tradition. So I took him up on that and became a monk for about a month. Then I graduated with my first 2 degrees. And then I traveled all around the United States going to Zen temples and all these Buddhist monasteries and stuff. Came back to Orlando, got ordained as a monk again at the same Thai temple, this time for 100 days.
Did you shave your head and your eyebrows and all that?
Oh yeah,
all in
the whole thing, yeah. So then I went back to regular life and then went for a master's degree in Asian studies, but studying Thai Buddhism once again at university. So then I traveled to Thailand for the first time around 2012. And I've been back many times since then. after I got my master's degree. Oh, well, during that time, I went to China, Japan, India, all over Asia.
Just traveling or working or?
Well, I was studying for my master's degree, so I was actually getting credit and writing papers and stuff for all of my travels.
What was the goal with a master degree? Like what kind of like Asian studies, like what kind of jobs do people get typically after doing that?
Not high paying ones.
Okay, because I mean it's interesting, but I can't like I'm trying to see how does it translate into the real world?
Right. So basically, I wanted to become a professor because I was doing all this university stuff and I just loved talking about all this stuff. That's why the main reason why I became an Asia vlogging YouTuber is because I just love talking about Asian culture and traveling around Asia, right? So that's what I wanted to do for a living. So I became a professor of Asian studies, Asian humanities, and world religions. But that was kind of rough because I was just an adjunct professor at like three different colleges in Florida, trying to make ends meet, working all these part-time uh, college teaching jobs. And then I realized that my big dream and goal was to move to Asia and live here. So I realized that wasn't getting me closer to my goal because really the only way to do that with the teaching thing is to teach English, you know? And I didn't want to do that because it's not very high paying and there's no upward mobility. It's a pretty stagnant job, you know? So then I realized that I'm fairly into tech stuff and I wanted to be a hacker when I was a kid. So I did a career change, got a master's degree in cybersecurity, and started working for Deloitte as a cybersecurity analyst in the US. Tried to move to Japan. I moved to Japan. 3 weeks later, COVID hit, and I had to move back to the US. So I was working remotely for Deloitte. And then I got an opportunity for a job in Bangkok finally that they would sponsor me for a visa to do cybersecurity here for a fintech company. So that's when I finally moved to Thailand 2 years ago doing cybersecurity for a Thailand-based company.
And at the time you moved, you took it was a big kind of a pay cut that you took to moving from a cybersecurity job based in the US to one that's based in Thailand.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, it's relative, you know, because the cost of living is so much cheaper here still.
You like that job?
Yeah, for sure. It's not without its challenges, for sure. But it's a good career. I like it. It's fun sometimes too.
How do you find working with Thai people in that field of work?
Actually, most of the people that I work with are European because it's a big multinational company with a big office in Bangkok. So actually, the company that I work for now is a different company that I came over with. When I came over and moved to Bangkok, it was for like a fintech startup company. And then I switched, and now I move. Now I work for like a hospitality organization that was originally based in Europe and now is worldwide. And so I work with lots of different people from many different countries, which is also cool.
Cool. And you're happy. Do you see yourself there in Thailand for the foreseeable future? So let's say, could we say the long haul, 10, 20, 30 years down the line?
Yeah, but to be completely honest, Bangkok is kind of getting to me. So I'm considering a few years down the line moving to maybe Hua Hin or Pattaya or something like that, just to be closer to the beach and have some cleaner air, you know?
Yeah, where are you living in Bangkok? You're in central Bangkok.
Yeah, I mean, I used to live in Edge 23, where you used to live, and Ashton Asok in the central Asok area. Recently, about 3 months ago, I moved sort of in the suburbs kind of Bangkok. Now I live out here on Ramintra near Fashion Island and Promenade.
I know that area, yeah. That's out towards Minbury, isn't it?
Yeah, so now I live in a house
Okay, let's talk about your cost of living then. How much is it to rent a house in the suburbs of Bangkok?
It's about, I think, 30,000 baht a month. Um, but I share all the expenses now with my girlfriend. She was living here uh, before we met, and then we were dating while I was living in the condos. And then after we were dating for a year, I finally moved in here with her. So she owns this house, and I help her with everything.
Oh, okay. So it's the mortgage that's 30,000, not the rent.
Right.
Okay. And if you were going to rent that, would it be cheaper? Like just say a house similar down the road or whatever, same kind of house, would the rent be cheaper than the mortgage?
I'm not sure. If I was gonna guess, I would say probably.
Okay. And what is it? A townhouse?
Not really. It's a standalone single family home, 2 stories.
Is it like down a Muban and a gated community type of thing?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool, cool. So you're not a single man anymore. You're in a relationship. You mentioned there you're living with your girlfriend and you're living together. And but you made a video. I'm assuming you made it when you were single, but you never know. Anyway, you made this video about dating in Thailand, and you kind of broke it all down, did the whole dating scene. You called the video an expat guide to dating.
Yeah.
So I want to get into that a little bit, like talk about your pros and cons of dating as a single man in Bangkok.
The pros are that I was able to date women from all around the world. It was it was really cool in that sense that I dated women from Africa, Indonesia, Malaysia, Japan, China, Thailand. Like, that was very interesting. So I got to have lots of different experiences and meet different people. Um, Another pro is in Thailand, people are just more relaxed about dating. I mean, this is kind of a well-known thing now, I guess. But yeah, people are just more relaxed and chill about dating here.
How do you mean more relaxed and chill? Are people not chilled in the US about dating?
No, they got no chill.
How do you mean they got no chill? Like, why don't they have chill?
I mean, it's kind of the whole passport bros thing, where it's like uh, to make a broad generalization at risk of sounding crass. It's like a lot of women have a stick up their ass, in the West, and they just think that their shit doesn't stink, and it's just not a good vibe, like. But over here, seems like people are more open-minded, willing to just go on dates and see how it goes and get to know the person without having, I mean, without having as many expectations or
When you say have a stick up their ass, do you mean there's more ego attached that they think, oh, I've got more options here. I call the shots with this kind of with dating.
yeah. I think it is that. Yeah. Because I mean, it kind of goes with Thai culture and the whole sabai sabai thing, and how, like, being chill is part of Thai culture. So it's like less aggressive and all of that.
Now, when you were doing this dating, was it online dating? Is that how you were meeting people?
Yeah. I mean, I met some people face to face initially, but mostly we're just using the dating apps,
Which apps?
Bumble and Tinder, and Coffee Meets Bagel.
Now, I think I've used Tinder before, but I mean that's probably 8 years ago. I've heard it's changed a lot. It's totally different. Obviously, everything changes than it would have been back in 2016. I heard it's changed a lot. Has the online dating scene changed in Bangkok, or what's it like now?
I mean, I can't really say if it's changed or not because I just started doing it 2 years ago. So I don't know how it was before that
Did
or
you get a lot of
whatever.
scammers and stuff?
I mean, for the reputation that Thailand and Bangkok has, it wasn't really a lot, and I was able to kind of like filter them on the app, filter most of them on the app before actually meeting. Like, we'll get into the cons, but this is some of the cons that, like, there were a few occasions where I actually physically got on the date and it was a disaster like that, where the girl was either a freelancer or a ladyboy or something like that. But
A lady
that was
boy.
yeah. I mean, usually I'm able to tell, and they'll tell you that they're transgender or ladyboy. But I had a couple of instances where they didn't tell me, and like the filtered photos and all this stuff. So I just like showed up to the date, like, okay.
Wow. And okay, so you showed up to the date, you go over, you introduce yourself, and then what happens?
I mean, I just went through with the dates, both of them, because it was like we were just having dinner, and it's like it's only 90 minutes of my time, and like I get to have an interesting conversation with somebody who's interesting, right? So like I would just talk to them and just
Did you call
chill,
them
and
out and say, listen, you never told me you were a lady boy?
I did, yeah.
What did they say?
They were embarrassed.
Well, I
One,
mean, they
one
should be kind of embarrassed. It's misleading, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, one of them said that she thought that she told me, and she didn't. But it's whatever. I mean, like I said, it was just a dinner, like 90 minutes of my time. So I mean, it was an interesting experience, and I just didn't speak to them after that because I'm not really into dating those people. Nothing against it, but and then I had a few instances of dates that were not ladyboys, but when people show up and they look nothing like their picture, that's another thing that you'll encounter. Um, there was actually one that was so bad that I thought about bailing in the middle of the date because I was like, this woman looks like a troll. I mean, I was embarrassed to be out with that person.
So she had a totally different picture, or maybe
Oh
edited
man,
pictures and filters and stuff.
yeah. I think the picture might have been of a different person.
Wow.
Yeah.
And were you angry on the day? Because I mean, nobody likes you're being misled. You're showing up to, and you're getting something that you didn't necessarily want. I could understand that feeling. So, well, like what? You just never seen her again then?
No.
Because I have had some friends in Bangkok and serial daters. I mean, literally guys that would go out every evening to go on a date. Were you one of those dudes?
Yeah, I mean, I was doing that really for a little bit, for a few months, and it got tiring for sure. Because like every once in a while, you get stood up for a date, where the girl will make a date and not show up, and it's like you don't vibe with some people, So sometimes you'll just after 10 minutes of conversation, you're like, I can't stand this person. So it's already dead right there.
But you know what happens if you go on, if you're, say you're going on a date, maybe you're going on 4 dates a week, okay? And maybe out of four, two you don't gel with, two people you kind of like, you want to get to know them again. But then your Tinder is still going. So then those two kind of people, maybe you'll see them again, but then you'll go on new dates and then same again. So you'll have two more people that you kind of like. All of a sudden your line account is like growing with all these people that you're texting, and then all of a sudden all your time and energy is going into texting people, finding new people, and this kind of network is just growing, and that's a lot of time and energy. Did you find that happening?
Oh yeah, I kept notes. I had documents where I would track all the girls.
How do you mean? How do you mean notes and document? How are you tracking them?
I mean, I would the girl's name, everything about her that all the pertinent information that I learned on the first date, what I thought of her, all that, when the date was, when I'm planning the next date. It's all very business like. It's business
Whoa,
time.
man, you must have had so many like ladies in your lineup.
For a
You
little
had to
bit,
make
yeah.
notes and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I said. It got tiring for a while because like you're saying, it's just like trying to build relationships with a certain number of people at the same time as meeting new people. Um, yeah, it was a second job.
In a way, you can see how Tinder's been successful, can't you? It's kind of like a drug. It's kind of like gambling, you know. It's you don't know who you're gonna meet, and you keep rolling the dice. Meanwhile, you may have already met a nice person, but because you think you can get something better, I can get something better. You're in that void then. So I know loads of guys that got involved in that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think I managed it pretty well because I wasn't just doing it for hookups. Like I was really trying to build relationships and get to know people. Because I wasn't trying to be single forever, right? So I, I think I managed it pretty well in terms of developing relationships with the people that I liked while like still meeting new people. Like it kept me busy, but yeah, I was trying to build relationships. So
And did you meet your current partner on Tinder?
on Bumble, yeah.
Bumble, okay. What's her name?
Her name is Psy Cute, aka Lil Baby Vamp Scramp, aka Lil Scrampy.
It's okay, so cute is the nickname.
Yeah, those are all her nicknames. I can't say her real name because she has a big corporate job too. So
Okay, okay, okay. And so what's it like in a relationship with a Thai woman?
it's great. I mean,
Why is it so great? What's great about it?
um,
Think about all your previous relationships with American women or Western women, and then psych cues. What are the differences between those relationships and this relationship?
so actually, most of my relationships have been with Asian women. So the last time that I dated Western women was like in high school and the beginning of college. So it was a long ways back. I just Asian women are my thing. I think they, in general, just look beautiful. I love the way that they look and just the mentality. Like, because I talked about how I was a professor and how I love Asian culture, right? So it's like to have a partner, girlfriend, wife, whatever. Um, that's like one of the biggest parts of your life, right? And so to me, like I have to have someone that like connects me to the culture that I love, right? That's another reason why I moved over here is to date someone who's connected to a culture that I love. Um, not that I hate America or anything like that, but back in America, I just kind of felt like I wasn't learning anything new. You know, like I was born and raised there, so it became very unexciting for me, uninteresting. Whereas over here, I'm just like I'm so into Asian culture and Thai culture, and my girlfriend, I, I have to say, is head and shoulders above the average Thai woman. I think.
That's a bold comment. Tell us why.
Yeah,
We want to know why.
I mean, her story is pretty impressive. She came from nothing, a poor family, and didn't have much support from her family at all, like none. They were actually fighting against her to make it out of the little village that she is from, and she fought her way up to now she is an executive on the board of directors of a huge multinational corporation. Uh,
Wow.
so
Well done.
she makes more than I do.
How do you feel about that? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Awesome.
No, that's cool. That's cool. Well done to her. Yeah, I'd like hearing stories like that.
I mean, there's lots of other things too. Of course, like I, I love her personality. Like her and I just vibed and got along from the very beginning. Like we just felt like we knew each other on the first date. So there was like really low effort, and we just got along. We started traveling for people that'll watch my YouTube channel, you'll see that we traveled around a lot, and so that tests your relationship even more. You know, when you travel with somebody, you kind of see even more who they are when you encounter stressful situations. You know.
When did you move to Thailand? It was 2022?
Yes, actually, almost exactly 2 years ago. Right now.
Okay, exactly 2 years. And was it the best decision you've ever made?
Yes, I have no regrets. It's see when people ask these kind of questions, I think it's kind of hard to say because you don't know what your life would have been like if you made a different decision, you know?
Yeah,
So
true.
like I tried moving to Japan right before the whole worldwide situation that happened, and I had to come back to the US because the situation started. And so I don't know what my life would have been like if I would have stayed in Japan and been living there until now.
How old are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
I am 38.
Okay. So you spent a large portion of your life then in the US.
Yeah.
Are you happy to be out of the US, or would you, I mean, because you meet people that have moved over to America and or to Thailand, and they're straight away they'll say never going back to the US ever again. And you've spent such a long time there, 36 years there, which is, you would definitely would have established yourself in the US. And you left at a time when, you're the prime of your life, basically. You're not retired when you left. So
Yeah.
any regrets on leaving the US?
No, I don't regret, but kind of as you're alluding to, it wasn't without its difficulties. You know, I mean, I had to uproot a bunch of stuff that I had developed there already. Like you said, like I had to make sacrifices to move over here. And, in some ways, since I'm from the US, it's more comfortable for me living over there. Um, but I don't regret it, not at all. I do miss my friends and family, of course, because I have new friends here, but all of my friends and new family I've only known for 2 years or less, right? It's just not the same as people that you've known since college or high school. With those older friends, you have such a deeper connection, you know.
How about expat friends? How did you meet them, and are they the same age as you?
Some are younger, some are older. Most of my expat friends are through music, actually, because I play in a heavy metal band here in Bangkok.
Yeah, that sounds like a great way to meet people.
Yeah, yeah. There's a healthy big rock and heavy metal scene in Bangkok. It's really cool.
And where do you play? Do you travel around, or you play in a certain bar?
Just Bangkok. I mean, there's a few select bars that have us quite frequently, and we're trying to play at more places. We just started writing songs, which is awesome. It's really fun.
Are they all foreigners, or are there Thai people in the band?
Everyone is from a different country. The singer's from Vietnam. I'm from the US. I play guitar. The other guitar player's from Brazil. Keyboard and second vocals is Thai. Drummer is from India, and the bass player is from France.
Cool, man. That's cool. And what
Yeah.
about your YouTube channel? Because you have a channel and you're making videos. Why'd you start a channel, and what's the aim of your channel?
The aim of my channel really, I'm trying to come back full circle because I loved teaching college. I loved it, but it didn't pay me enough, and it wasn't getting me over here to live in Asia. So that's why I had to switch from that career. But the actual teaching, I absolutely loved, like being in the classroom and teaching and having class discussion and just philosophizing with my students. That was really it was very fulfilling. So since I did a career change into cybersecurity, my YouTube channel kind of bridges the gap and brings me back to my passion of teaching and sharing experiences about Asian culture and world religions, psychology, philosophy, anthropology, all that stuff that I was into before. Like I kind of I want to get back into all of that and bring it into my videos. So I want to start incorporating more of that stuff and kind of tap back into my passion of all of those topics and being immersed in them, you know?
All right. Well, look, William, it's been a pleasure, man. I wish you all the best with your channel and your job and your life in Bangkok. Thanks for sharing your story.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.